was always important for me to practice being just with myself and being able to let myself feel the emotions that I wanted to feel and not worry about how they were affecting other people. So I always trained with headphones and liked training alone because I was able to block out those expectations and focus more on what I was doing and the essential reasons that I love climbing and what brings me back to training hard and being better for myself and not thinking about the effects that that would have on anybody else.
Next song.
If you're a competitive climber, a lot of your time then has to be spent in the gym. It's a little bit unforgiving in terms of the amount of time commitment that you have to spend in the gym day in, day out training, because if you're not in the gym practicing these moves, practicing these boulders, trying to get better at your weaknesses, somebody else somewhere in the world is doing even more than you are and you're gonna fall behind. Physical training for competition is only half the battle. The mental side of it is equally as important, if not more important. And it has unequivocally always been my downfall.
Next song.
The mental side of competing is almost more important than the physical side. Everybody that competes at a World Cup is strong and is capable of doing every single boulder if it was in the correct environment. But the key is having the mental capacity to persist through whatever pressures are happening around you and be able to perform at your best. And it's a hard skill, and it's a hard skill to learn. My name is Allison Vest. I'm a professional climber. I grew up in Canmore, Alberta, Canada. I've competed since I was 10, started climbing when I was 5. I've competed on the World Cup circuit for Canada for a long time, up until this year. This past year I've taken a step back from that competitive climbing environment because it was overwhelming for me mentally. And I've really discovered more of a passion for both training alone in my own little headphone bubble, but also for just climbing alone in general, outside on new boulders, projecting alone and feeling like I can be exactly who I feel like being in that moment. I've really discovered the value of climbing by myself and being able to climb at my own pace and learn at my own pace and really just exist exactly as I am and not worry about how that might be affecting the people around me. I'm pretty hard on myself, which I know me acting that way is hard for the people who are around me, just because everybody has a different way of acting and behaving at a boulder. And sometimes wearing your emotions on your sleeve isn't necessarily relatable to everybody. I think the value of projecting or training alone is that I can just focus on myself and what my goals are and how I'm feeling that day and be all-encompassing thinking about myself in that exact moment and have no distractions and nothing that's gonna detract me from whatever my goals are. One thing that I always hoped to model was to just listen to yourself and understand when things aren't working anymore. And I spent years training for comps, I think being really unhappy because I was so stuck in this monotonous phase of self-deprecation and always feeling like I wasn't good enough and always feeling like I wanted more. It's hard. I mean, that's part of competing, is wanting to be better, but you have to be able to do it in a way that is confident that things will get better and that you will be able to get where you need to be. And I lost that along the way. And I think a healthy mindset for competing is being driven and wanting to improve upon your weaknesses and wanting to get better next time, but not tearing yourself down when that doesn't happen. And I think you need to enjoy it. I think it has to be a situation where you're enjoying the process of getting better, of learning new things, of getting to travel the world and compete with your friends. And I lost that. And I don't know if I'll find it again, and if I do, I will be really excited to return to competitions, but it's been a lot easier for me to focus on the process and focus on myself and focus on just being better next session or sticking a move for the first time. I've been known to try a competition style boulder for 2 hours straight until I do it, and I won't leave the gym until I do it, which does represent a certain kind of commitment and drive, but also in a competition setting, you don't have 2 hours, you have 5 minutes. So it is an art of letting go a lot of times in competitions, letting go of what just happened and focusing on the present. And I've always struggled with that. Whereas when you think about outdoors, having that single-minded, obsessive focus is actually an advantage, to be able to try something over and over again, to be able to have a focus on a project and go back day after day, week after week. And so I think that's just an easier place for me to be in mentally, to be able to know that if it doesn't go down this session, there'll always be a next one. And maybe one day that'll translate to competitions and that'll be great, but maybe not.